Hello everyone, welcome back to Sports Kabri. Here is Harry and on foot with me are Nava and Hiren, and yeah, Mumbai City FC Goa 1-1 in the end. But I think the last sort of 10, 15 minutes, or even the last quarter of the game was quite fun. I thought from a neutral's perspective, I enjoyed it thoroughly, and in the end, I thought Mumbai had football Achenpa to thank for a couple of wonderful saves, a couple of shots from Borja Herrera that could have easily found the net. And yeah, but all in all, we have a few talking points in this game, a few missing players from Mumbai, of course, injuries, and we'll discuss all of that. But firstly, on the game, Anwar, coming to you, were you impressed by Mumbai's performance today? Because I thought in the second half they were slightly off.
Good evening, everyone. No, I wasn't impressed by Mumbai because I thought in the first few minutes, they put Goa under good pressure. Guruchena directly with a very, very good chance. Dheeraj looked unsure to me, with the high balls. But this is not something new. This is something that I've seen on him for, okay, I shouldn't lie, about 7, 8, 9 years since he was a junior. And they didn't play to their strengths, I felt sometimes. And that is something where, you know, um, uh, Vikram looked like the most dangerous of the lot, and he was the one who also got them the goal. But somehow or the other, it didn't click as it has had in the last few weeks. There was something, you know, which I can't explain why that there was something missing, why this wasn't, so to say, a performance from Mumbai City where they say, you know what, this is something that we should have won.
Yeah, but there's so many talking points before we go to Goa, Hiren, and we'll talk about it, of course. But when it comes to Mumbai, the first sort of eyebrow-raising decision was leaving Changte on the bench, playing Bipin. In the end, if you're the coach, you probably say, you know what, he provided the assist. But when you look at it in the second half, he was pretty much non-existent. So how do you read into Bipin's performance in this game?
First of all, hello to everyone, and agree. matlab, I think with that assist, I think he justified his you can say starting 11 performance. Otherwise, I think it was not a, you can say great game from the Bipin Singh, to be honest. Because and this is the case with the Bipin Singh. He has been I think अगर आप देखेंगे पिछले कुछ time से he's been too inconsistent. He can produce a very good performance, then suddenly looks little bit off. But I think overall. ठीक है आई थिंक वो आशीष उन्होंने दे दिया आई एम रियली इम्प्रेस्ड विद द Thierry's performance. I think Thierry has been for me the man of the match from the Mumbai City side. I think the way he is made some of the tackles are incredible to see, and I think he is there. That's why I think they didn't consider the goal. Otherwise, I think should have easily considered 2-3 easy goals. To be honest, because first half में भी अगर आप देखें तो जिस तरह से वो क्या बोलते कि रोलिंग बोजिस का हेडर था उसके लिए एक आध और चांस बना था सेकंड हाफ में दे क्रिएटेड एफसी गोवा आई वुड से एफसी गोवा क्रिएटेड a more good chance. So for me I think Thierry is the best player from the Mumbai City side. Then after I absolutely agree with sir that Vikram Pratap Singh is the energy man. Akash Mishra looks a little bit off today. Mehtab Singh has been really you can say average performance today. Rahul Beke looks decent. Jayesh Rane made some of the mistake loose quite silly balls. So I also you can see he didn't impress with his decision making today. Ikar Guruskena tried so many things, but I think eventually didn't work out. Noguera quite impressive today. That one run he made into the box of the FC Goa, that was a brilliant run from him.
So sorry. I think we've just lost Hiren. Yeah, Nava, Hiren was of course discussing the several Mumbai players who did well on the day, but I want to come to you about Apuya who was missing. Do you know anything about the situation, and do you think it costed Mumbai on the day not to have somebody like him who can control midfield?
Um, I think Apuya is one of those players, um, one of the few Indian players who can make a difference in this league. You know, so therefore losing him, not having him, surely took away an option. I think that also forced the coach to decide to say, "Listen, I'm going to play with Noguera and with Fanif." And yeah, and again, as I said yesterday, I think the question was amongst the three wingers, which two will you start? And Bipim deserved a start, after the super sub performances in the last game. And he had his moments, but also he was drab in a large part of the game. So therefore, it's always a mixed thing. So, you know, Peter Krutke has very often in the last few weeks had the right starting 11, or also made the right substitutions. But yeah, today it just didn't click for them, right? It was a very even game in the end, and chances at both ends, and therefore, yeah, a draw.
Sorry
Yeah, no,
guys,
yeah,
power has been cut off, so I have to join with the only voice for a couple of minutes.
Take it,
yeah,
take
yeah,
it.
no, no issues, no issues. Um, yeah, I know, and I think, like you just mentioned, that sort of forced him to drop Chroma, I'm guessing, and play that extra midfielder in Aguera, and that's why you saw him not going with the two centre back, foreign centre back options, and yeah, and then going with Mehtab and Raul Beke. So I think that's that when it comes to the team composition. But I know in the second half, what do you think was missing? Because it looked like towards the end that Goa were the only side that looked likely of scoring a goal. And of course, missing Ayush Chikara. You think that's a bad injury? It looks like a knee problem for him.
It Yeah, it looked like something with the knee. I hope it's nothing serious, and no tear or anything, because he had his moments again. He had some very interesting movements. I mean, that's something. If you see, Ayush is one of those players. I'd like to see more of him. Um, but again, I hope he's going to be okay and available again in the next match. I think that's those. Those are the players that you need, so to say, as your potential backups if you're looking at backups in the team, and players who need to get the opportunity in the time. Vikram is a very, very good example now for the other players, or not only Vikram but also Valpuya, as players who've had their chances and opportunities, and they took it.
Hiren, Mumbai could have gone top of the table today if they had one, and sort of I was expecting it at least. I'm sure all of us were. We predicted that Mumbai would win yesterday, and yeah, it wasn't the case, and now they sit second behind Odisha on yeah, I mean on goal difference. So very, very interesting that both sides have played the same number of games, have got the same number of points. Um, you see this affecting Mumbai's performances going forward by any chance?
I think affect to Nicaragua, but I think they will be definitely disappointed with this performance because I think this is the best chance to beat Goa. With they are coming up with the three back-to-back losses. They are down on confidence-wise also, and I think and you are coming up with their three back-to-back wins, so they are on a much higher on confidence. But they didn't able to perform at their home particularly. I think that was a great chance to get the 2 point lead at the top of the table also, and a great chance to beat FC Goa when after taking a 1-0 lead, you consider the goal. So I think they will definitely disappoint with this performance, but I don't see it is affecting too much because this side knows how to make the comebacks and they already done it in the past also. So I think in that sense I don't see too much problem, but definitely they need to be now really you can say ki, accurate or 100% because now there are you don't will get, you can say ki, get a chance to or make that kind of comeback if you are behind the 2 3 points because now only 5 6 matches left, so you have to win every matches to remain on the top of the table. So in that sense I think Mumbai City now has to deliver the performance in every match.
Yeah, crazy. You're saying Peter is underplaying Mumbai. I don't necessarily think so. I think again when you're missing certain players, it just seems. I think Apuya is a huge component of this Mumbai side, and that one thing sort of made you change a couple of things here and there, and you had to play Mehtab and Rahul Beke and drop your drop Chroma, who's looked good alongside Terry. So I think it's all of these things combined, and sometimes these things happen in football. And another the next one for Mumbai is quite tricky because it's away at Punjab. Not only are you going away from home, but the turnaround time from this game to the next is very short. You've got 2 days of rest, and you have to travel on top of that and play a 5 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. So, is it something that could potentially affect the performance on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a risk when you have matches happening less than 72 hours after your last game. And again, the travel, of course, is there, but again, Mumbai Delhi is there as well. That's another 5 to 7 hour journey for the team. from door to door, and it and Punjab is looking good, right? I mean, they look good against Hyderabad. They've looked good against others. So it will be interesting to see which players will return and how they will be able to turn things around. So that's going to be that's going to be the challenge for Punjab and for Mumbai City as well. I mean,
Yeah,
Punjab gets an extra day. Punjab were playing yesterday, right? And they have to also, or have already traveled back to Delhi.
yeah. And maybe playing in front of their home crowd could give them a little bit more. I mean, that 2% more, probably 2 to 5% more. But yeah, coming to Crazy Yash's question, why wasn't Pereira Diaz playing here? Because even I suspected that his suspension was done.
Yeah, suspension is over. 4 match suspension is done. And bench पे I think थे कि नहीं थे वो शायद नहीं थे मेरे हिसाब से
No, he was not there.
bench. So that's an interesting decision from Peter Ketke to not include him into the squad also. But definitely let hope so कि कोई injury ना हो, because I think they needed them in this last couple of matches. You can't only go with the, you can say, Karkuruske. You needed that kind of player also. I think let's see.
Yep. Moving to the Goa side of things, Nava, we were questioning Goa. I think based on their previous performances, of course, Manolo Marquez also didn't seem too pleased by his side's performances. Came out in the form of other things we suspected, but they've got the job done at Mumbai, sort of. In the end, could have come away with a victory. So, is this a huge positive for them going into the final few games of the campaign?
I would start for Manolo and his boys. The first point is that they didn't lose. I think that's the important one after the Kerala game, right? I mean, if you think that Vikram scores a very early goal in the second half, it could have gone that way again, right? The risk was there. So from that perspective, the risk was there. They picked up. I'm positively surprised that Boha Herrera was playing in the end. So that means there was no sort of ligament injury, even though he looked, I don't know, when he was warming up, it looked a little tricky, the way he was sort of testing his ankle. So that's an addition. Certain changes, forced changes to be made. And they had their chances. And I think important was that, and that Yasser goal is class. Of course, it has a certain level of deflection from Raul Beke. Otherwise, I think maybe Purba Lechempa gets to it, who, again, we've mentioned Vikram, we've mentioned Tiri, but also Purba Lechempa also had a very, very good game today for Mumbai. And again, it was chances at both ends, and therefore, in the end, Goa will most probably think they could have won it. So that is that. Let's wait and see, because it was again the Kerala one is such a difficult one, because Goa had such a good first half against Kerala that what they're capable of, but because of those losses, you are not very, very clear. But the problem for them is they haven't won a match in a while. I think that's their biggest problem. Their winners run is now five or six, 5 matches, right? 5 matches without a win, I think.
Last 3 they lost and this draw. So 4 मैच तो हो गए आपके.
उसके पहले तो draw था.
हाँ तो 5 match without a draw था वो.
Yeah, Goa 5 without a win. Yep. Hiren, I want to come to you about a certain BFC, former BFC player who I was actually quite pleased to see it today. I mean, I thought he did do pretty well after coming on. Udanta Singh, were you impressed by his performance? Because I think towards the end, in that second half, a bit came through him, and his good work on that right hand side.
I think last couple of matches he's been looking promising, so that's a good sign for them. Also, Boris and Mohammad Yasir is also doing well, so that's also positive for Molo Marquez at the moment. But I think Mohammad Yasir, we all know that he has the great talent without a doubt, and under him, Molo Marquez, he was the very important player in the Hyderabad side in last year also. So in that sense, I think he's the interesting and potential player who can definitely, as Igor Stimic is saying, Yasir for World Cup qualifier match. It's depend on you, Igor Stimic. It's not on us. Right? It's you to select him. not us. But I think he should deserve the chance, because I think we lack that kind of number 10 player in national side, other than you can say Sahal and Brandon. But other player I want to mention about is this Roland Borges. I think he also should be. For me, I think he should be considered, to be honest, because I think the way he's the threat in set pieces, the way he's playing, I think he should be there. He should be there, to be honest. I think जिस तरह के फॉर्म में वो चल रहे हैं, I think he can be a difference maker. Particularly against the physical side, where you need to win you can say aerial ball, second ball. I think there he can be really you can say useful, and I think he's been really well. At the moment, by Rolling is greater than Rohit. No, Rohit is nowhere near to the picture, to be honest. I think for me, I think he should be. If you ask me one player which you should be calling up for the World Cup qualifiers, then for me is Roland Borges, because I think he has been really brilliant.
I agree, and I think even me, like personally, over the years also, I've always been a fan of him and his work. And no, don't you think he just brings that sort of calm and that stability as well? His experienced head, of course. Is that somebody we should be considering?
I said a while back, and I said it yesterday. I think we need that kind of experience that Raulin or that a Lenny Rodriguez bring with them. And they know what to do to stop the opponents. They both also have a certain level physicality as well. And experience is something which you can't learn at that level. At international level, you need experience, and that's something which if Rowland stays fit, and the way he's got a technical ability which very few Indian footballers have, and also that Yasir goal, for example, right? That's technically, a very good goal. So therefore, let's see what they do.
Has
But
this game sort of,
sir,
yeah.
सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट राहुल, बट टुडे जय गुप्ता जिस तरह से मतलब यहाँ पे क्या बोलते चांगते ने उसको यहाँ पे प्ले किया, आई थिंक ही लुक्स आल्सो लिटिल बिट ऑफ टुडे. I think Jay Gupta didn't look that much comfortable compared to other defender. I think Ode Onadia and they are looks good, but I think Jay Gupta could have done better for me.
Yeah.
I mean, Hiren, for me, and I've said it earlier, a player like him might need some time to settle down, right? He had a very good start. He was flying because of the rest of the team was flying. And now he's in a situation he is in that, he will have the one or the other match where he's not performing that well. So therefore, but again, give him time. I think Jay Gupta has it in him. And so let's hope, could be a future India player.
Yeah, hope he comes good. But again, despite his defensive deficiencies that Hiren has mentioned, I thought he was pretty all right when he was going forward. So, yeah, has this game sort of just cleared up the path for Mohan Bagan, given they've got just one to play out of the top four teams, and they've still got a game in hand? Is something? Are you guys thinking that way?
No.
Hiren?
I mean.
Sorry, yeah.
No. The point is, if the points that you don't have on the board, is you have to get those points first. It's not, simple mathematics that you say, listen, you have got 1 match, 2 match, 3 match outstanding. I'll get 9 points and then I'm top of it doesn't work that way, I mean, as per this logic, Goa should have been now 37, 38, 40 points on the table, right? So therefore, Mohun Bagan has to win their matches. And it's the same thing with everybody else, because we'll have draws. We'll have those surprise draws, because those teams who are fighting for a top 6 spot, they're also going to take points away from the top 5.
Yeah.
Exactly, sir. That's my point कि आप क्लियर कट कब बता सकते हो कि अगर मान लीजिए कि जैसे वो बोल रहे कि मोहन बगान का मुंबई सिटी के साथ मैच है और वहां पे, बट ऐसा भी आई डोंट थिंक सो कि मैं मतलब एटलीस्ट फॉर मी आई थिंक इट्स अ शॉर्ट कि मोहन बगान अगर जमशेदपुर, नॉर्थ ईस्ट या फिर बीएफसी के साथ खेलेगा तो जीत ही जाएगा, या फिर मुंबई सिटी उसके साथ खेल रहा है तो पंजाब एफसी के साथ तो जीत ही जाएगा. यू डोंट गेट यू कैसे कि क्लियर कट इन अ सेंस कि अभी उस लेवल का डिफरेंस है.
Yeah,
Punjab FC, Northeast United, Jamshedpur, BFC, they can beat all these, you can say, top 4 team also. So in that sense, it's make a really difficult to predict. And as sir rightly mentioned, ki there will be some surprise draw as the you can say higher rating. So that will make this you can say field race much more interesting, and that's why I think there will be you can say कि आपको ऐसा जरूर लगेगा कि now the path is clear, but I think it will definitely goes to last 2 to 3 match weeks without a doubt. Till then, I think I don't see any team getting a clear cut advantage to go into the you can say win this field.
yeah.
And
Deepak
Deepak
saying,
Daspa is saying regarding the rolling ball stamina, but I think then you have a five substitution. You can use him as a you can say ki the way today Manuel Marquez used him. I think you can
60 minutes.
perfectly. So I think in that sense he can be a useful asset.
Yeah, and I think I know what Arnav mentioned is so important. I think without points on the board, they're not points. And we make this mistake as fans a lot of times where we just say, you know what, like 3 points should be pretty straightforward, but in the end, it never is. It
But
actually never.
राहुल वो ऐसे होता है ना 3 मैच बचे हैं 3 3 into 3 9 points मिल
9 points.
जाएंगे you will
Yeah,
win the
exactly.
league. बट वो
Yeah,
वो काउंट नहीं करते ना कि किसी मैच हार सकते हैं. So
true,
that is
true.
the
Yeah, and even in the most simplest of games, sometimes.
हाँ वो भी हार सकते हैं.
So,
And
yeah,
it's been
But if
happening
you if
all
you
season, right? It's been
yeah,
happening
हाँ
all
हाँ
season. You first thought, okay, Mumbai, then Mohun Bagan, then Kerala, then
वो
Odisha, then Goa in between, and again, it's not so easy. The teams have to win their games, and none of these games are won. So therefore, the fight is on, the title race is on, and it's going to be very interesting, very interesting to see who comes through.
yeah. Then before we move on from FC Goa and this game, Bora Herrera, I think deserves a mention, and yeah, really took the game by the scruff of the neck and tried everything he could to score, and promising signs that he's showing such uh, good performances at this important juncture.
yes, much needed because after Victor Rodriguez, I think that number 10 position has been vacant and not you can say Malor Marcus try one or two plays but didn't you can say work out in that well. So I think it's a very important key Borja Herrera needs to be fit and needs to be firing in this last couple of matches for FC Goa to you can say back into this zeal race and win these so crucial matches. And I think his impact was also clearly visible in this last 10 minutes in today's match also. So I think he's going to be the really crucial man for the Manolo Marquez.
Yeah, going to be a very intense last few weeks. Arnava,
फैंस आज थोड़े से राहुल आज फैंस थोड़े से लाउड थे तो वो अच्छा लगा
yeah,
मेरे को देख के.
I could
भले
hear.
फुल हाउस नहीं था बट इट वाज क्वाइट अ लाउड की थोड़ा सा मतलब एटलीस्ट कमेंट्री में सुनाई तो दे रहा था कि देयर वाज एंड एफसी गोवा के फैंस भी थे लाउड. ऐसा नहीं था कि वो नहीं थे. व्हेन दे स्कोर द गोल आई थिंक दे वर आल्सो क्वाइट यू कैन से लाउड इनफ टू cheer up their team.
No, just again, I wanted to ask this question. I think sometimes the Mumbai stadium just feels so good because it is a football
खूब
stadium at the
हाँ.
end of the day, and the it's just so close to the pitch. Why don't we see that enough in India?
Because you're using again, all these stadiums are provided by someone or the other for you to use, right? And this is, if one is honest, I mean, Mumbai had the biggest of them all, which was DY Patil. I mean, there is no stadium where you're further away from the action than the DY Patil Stadium. And then Aditya Thackeray came around and helped Mumbai City develop this ground, and and therefore you can play at the Andheri Sports Complex, and it's the way it should be. It's I think even the Mumbai Football Arena is a little too big because on one side, you've got the VIPs, VVIPs sitting directly behind the goal, and the other one is a roundish shape, so it's a little further away. So if it was actually a rectangular shape, that would be better. But the other ones are either have an athletic track, or have
Exactly.
Kochi and Goa have hosted cricket in the past as well. The Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in Delhi is also a huge stadium. You're quite far off from the action. yeah, these are realities. Salt Lake Stadium is not small. We continue
but sir,
Guwahati. Hmm.
बट सर उससे उससे अच्छा मतलब कोई भी ये जो राहुल ने बोला वो सही बात है कि चाहे भले ही 15-20 हजार की कैपेसिटी वाला स्टेडियम हो, लेकिन एक ऐसा जो प्रॉपर फुटबॉल स्टेडियम होता है तो उसका जो एटमोस्फेयर बनता है वो चाहे भले ही इस तरह के स्टेडियम में आपके 40-50 थाउजेंड पीपल आए, बट दैट डिडंट क्रिएट दैट काइंड ऑफ एटमोस्फेयर जो आई थिंक प्लेयर भी आई थिंक टू बी ऑनेस्ट आते हैं टू यू कैन से कि जो होम टीम के क्या बोलते हैं कि टीम होती है वो आई थिंक जो 15-20 हजार अगर आप प्रॉपर एक
It
फुटबॉल स्टेडियम बनाओगे
depends.
तो जो
It
एटमोस्फेयर
depends on which teams, because again, I think in an Indian context, also crowd control and potential, throwing of this or that or whatever is a problem, as you've seen recently with Mohammedan Sporting with the Naihati Stadium. So those things have to be also considered. I mean, there's someone who actually hit. I remember many years back in the derby, someone threw a stone from about 100 yards out and hit Nabi on the head, and he had just a fractured skull. So these are factors which have to be considered. So a small compact stadium is nice to have, but there are also security reasons rather to have these big multi-purpose venues.
Yeah, fair enough. Absolutely. I think player safety, of course, is probably at the topmost sort of consideration, and we need to take that into account. But another thing, I personally I've been to the BFS of a lot of times, Bangalore Football Stadium, and I've gone to Kantirwa a lot of times. Even watching a super division game or a youth game, I watched my brother play in BFS. There's just something about these grounds that makes you like, oh, you know what, this is. I still love BFS way more than the country, although I've never seen BFC actually play in BFS. I wasn't there when the club started at 2013. I wasn't a BFC fan. So again, I've always had this question. By any chance, do you know why BFC doesn't reconsider sort of rebuilding BFS or taking that over and making it a proper football stadium for fans to come and watch BFC games?
There were conversations in the past, but this is a ground which the Karnataka State Football Association and the Bangalore District Football Association use for all competitions. So therefore, this ground is an artificial turf.
Yeah.
And the ISL said after the first few years, we want to move away from artificial turf. We only want to play on natural turfs. So therefore, that's already a no, a big no, so to say, to BFC moving to that ground. And you have to redevelop the whole stadium. I mean, that stadium, as bad as the Kantirava on one side is, and it's falling apart, but BFS is not in a better shape. So you would literally have to knock down three of the stands. The FIFA funded sort of the functional stand you can keep, but the three others you would have to knock down and rebuild. And again, there were attempts by BFC in the past. Also, Ozone wanted to take over the stadium and rebuild it, but for some reason or the other, it hasn't happened. I mean, people need to understand also, this is prime land in Bangalore, right? So it's
Yeah.
not that easy to say, listen, we're going to knock down and build even a 25-30,000 seater proper stadium. Yeah, that's another issue.
Yeah. Right in the middle of the city as well.
It's the same thing what I say in Delhi. Na? In Delhi, if you could do the right things, you rebuild the Ambedkar with 20,000 would be a much more fitting. Some of the best India matches have been in that ground. India's won the Nehru Cup a couple of times at that venue. Played the AFC Challenge Cup as well. Yeah.
They approved now the Ambedkar Stadium will be renovated. They approved the plan.
I have seen that redevelopment plan now. I don't know for how many times. Yeah, it's not happened in the last 20 years. They've said it multiple times. So only when it happens. Again, Parth Jindal, yes, Parth Jindal tried, but again, it didn't happen for multiple reasons.
Yep. Anything to do with athletics?
No, not with BFS, but with the Kantirava, it's an issue, right? It's not BFS.
Yeah.
It is Kantirava has been an issue with, especially javelin throwers and stuff. I mean, Neeraj Chopra making holes into the ground. I don't know if that's that good for an Indian football game.
Yeah, but I've seen complaints. Use a couple of, I think athletes as well, that sort of players coming on to the athletics track to celebrate has also created issues. So this is yeah, whole lot of issues, I think. But yeah, here coming to tomorrow's game, Odisha East Bengal again, top six, top of the table. If Odisha win tomorrow, they can sort of pull away from the rest. get a nice 3 point lead at the top, and really put the pressure on those chasing. East Bengal, on the other hand, kind of sort of. I know they've beaten Chennai, not in convincing fashion. You think they need a dominant performance to sort of really get going?
First of all, it will be Sergio Lovera versus Carles Gujarat, and I think after the today's press conference, I think it's a nicely heated up. So in that sense, I think I am really looking forward to this game, and
But
definitely it's a
but
great.
Hiren, on that press
Hmm.
conference, Lobera said what we said the other day, na?
The other day, yes, exactly,
Yeah. So
yes,
so the point is that other people are thinking the same way, and also to come back to yesterday's discussion in regard to Spygate, I don't know if you've seen that certain people have been tweeting about it. Certain people have said that they've done it themselves. Some very famous coaches in the Indian ecosystem have actually on Twitter, said, "Hey, listen, I've done it, but I've never been caught." So
hmm,
for someone, again, let's go back to that ethics discussion, but certain things are done, right? uh, um, it's quite funny, and the point, and the Lobera has one important point I think that he's making, is that, are you forgetting what happened in the final, where you guys got certain favors from the game,
favors.
right? It's the same thing I'm saying to Kerala Blasters. Who knows if this 4-2 would ever have happened if the referee had not, if he had given the third goal.
Hmm.
So, yeah. Sorry, Hiren, I stopped you.
No, 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 agree, completely agree. And I think that's what we are also making the point. Ki you can't be a selective. If you are criticizing, then you have to criticize yourself also when you get the favor. So that's the point. But I think back to the match, really important for Odisha FC to take the 3 point lead, because they need this point lead to, you can say, ki now after that they are going into the action in the AFC Cup. So to breathe her a little bit there, I think they need this crucial win. They are playing at their home, so definitely for me they are the favorites. East Bengal, I agree with you, Rahul. They didn't win convincingly against Chennai FC, but I think they can. Well, they have a capabilities. They have individual brilliance player, but I think the most important thing will be the Carlos Gujarat tactics. How he is going to set it up his team. Ultra defensive, sit back, mid block, or full on attacking. I think that will decide the, you can say, because we know Odisha and Sanju Lubera's time. They will go attacking. They didn't, you can say, will go and sit back. So I think the point will be the how the Carlos Kudra, because we already seen Carlos Kudra try against Mumbai City full on ultra defensive, and they eventually lose the match. So I think if they same tactics they will try against Odisha FC, it will backfire. So I think they need to be a little bit attacking also. So it will be interesting fight, but I'm seeing Odisha FC as the favorite in this match.
Fair enough. Anava, are you expecting Carlos Quezada
And
to win this?
so
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
one
yeah.
important point is Ahmed Jao is coming back, so their heart and mind is coming back. So now again, you will see a original, you can see Odisha FC.
And Anava, do you think Carlos Quezada is going to go with that defensive mindset and sit back against Odisha, especially away from home?
Um, it will be interesting to see the players coming back, how they set it up, defensively. Do you only play, how do you set up? Because if I'm right, he judges out, right, with the booking, with yellow cards, if I'm not wrong. So that's
Not
the
sure,
first
100%.
question. I think he's out, but others come back from suspensions. Quadrat himself is suspended, so therefore Dimas Delgado today went to the press conference, um, and yeah, I mean, they've been playing defensive, and it was very interesting to see that the East Bengal fans seemed to be, despite the win, they were very unhappy with the way East Bengal played.
And playing,
So there
yes.
is a realization in the East Bengal fan ecosystem that that their team is not as developed down that development pathway that they thought they are. I think that's the challenge for East Bengal, because they are not a top 5 team. I mean, they're the top 5 and the rest of the league, and East Bengal is part of the rest of the league, right? And honestly, anyone between 6 and 11 could get sixth spot. Even Chennai, despite losing yesterday, theoretically they could get in there, and it is that much of a difference. And these are the kind of matches where if East Bengal can get a draw, that itself will be already a surprise. If they can get a win, that's huge, because then they jump into sixth spot. Odisha, also no. 3 points are needed, because then again I move back to that first spot cleanly, because now you're just 1 goal better than Mumbai City.
Yeah.
And I think direct match between Odisha and Mumbai City is also not. I think baki nahi hai na baki. So you need to be now.
Baki hai na?
Baki hai, acha. Then it will be interesting.
It was one. The first one was 1-1, no? Or am I wrong?
Yeah. Yes, it was the first one was 1-1.
Yeah. And Hiren, just want to ask you as well, if East Bengal can I mean, is there a slight chance that we live in this world where Carlos Cuadrat's defensive tactics do pay off, and they score one on the counter or one from a set piece, and suddenly go sixth?
Yes, it can happen. It can happen. We already seen with the his tactics. In some of the matches, he get the success. So definitely, that might be, you can say, his way of playing. But I think it will be difficult, because the threat from the Odisha FC is not only, you can say, open game. Their set pieces is also very dangerous with the Mortada fall and everyone. So I think you will be continuously attacked, and I think there will be a, you can say, greater chances your player will make a mistake in out of those 19 minutes defending. That was happened against the Mumbai City also. You're one of the error, and you are one down. Then you have to, you can say, go attack and to try to equalize, and then Odisha FC get another chance. So it will be difficult. If they hold up, then I think it's a very good thing, but it will be difficult.
Yeah. Brandon's asking, what do you think about the East Bengal Odisha rivalry?
Odisha have a rivalry with, I think, Kolkata clubs now. I think the way both the fan base are, Mohun Bagan fan base are also not happy with the Odisha, and the West Bengal fans are also not, you can say, on the you can say, on sympathy side. So I think Odisha has now created a rivalry with big boys of Kolkata.
Yep. Anubhav, can you also give us a prediction and tell us who will win this game tomorrow?
I mean, the ideal result for this overall situation in the league would be a draw, right? That would make it interesting. Top 5, it would make it interesting for the top 6 race. So in that, but normally I think Odisha will win this.
Okay. Scoreline, Anu?
3-1.
Okay. That's fairly fair. But again, I think if Odisha score early, I think they really run away with this. I don't see East Bengal coming back into this whatsoever. So, Hiren, that first goal I think matters a lot for me. But what do you think the scoreline will be? And can you give us a prediction as well?
I think Arnav sir ने जो बोला कि regarding draw, I also have a feeling that it might get a 1-1 draw, but I would give Odisha FC the little bit advantage, because they are playing at home, and the way they are in a form. I think I would go with the 2-1 victory for Odisha.
Yeah, fair enough. I think they do go into this game as favorites. Of course, they're top of the table, and they're playing an East Bengal side that haven't looked convincing in the past few games. So it's only reasonable that we sort of tip the scales in favor of Odisha. And Brennan's asking Sal Crespo, when's he back?
I think
he has some time to go. He's back in training, but he's not training with the team. So I think he's got still.
Jordan LC also come back into the training.
Yeah, but no, he's just returned. He's still doing rehab. He's not training.
Okay.
He's not training. Jordan LC still has a long way. He's not playing this season. So and he's not registered anyway. So that question doesn't even arise.
Yeah. So that's where we are. Yeah, guys, everybody in the chat, thanks for joining in. Please like and share our videos, subscribe to all the channels Sports Kabli are on foot and Curious Harry. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about East Bengal versus East Bengal versus Odisha. Yeah. Good night.
Mm.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.